Fireworks in the sky, but the truth's still buried underground. Royal Low, yeah. They told me, wave the flag while the chains still clank. Told me praise the names on the blood-soaked banks. Told me freedom was born in the room full of men who wrote liberty down while they own human skins. The fucking founding fathers and the myths they made. I don't pledge to the lie, I don't kneel to the page. You can light up the sky, I remember the smoke from the fields, from the ships, from the necks in the rope. You call it independence, I call it selective. You call it patriotic, I call it protective. Of the story so fragile it cracks when questioned. Truth knocks once and they call it aggression. Yeah. Red for the blood they spill, white for the lies they told, blue for the bruises left on the bodies they sold. Don't ask me to celebrate what never included mine. I came with the receipts, I came to redraw the line. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers, let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide, yeah. No justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roots scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, I'm lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. They say, look how far we came. I say, look what it cost. Every courthouse got a shadow, every victory got lost. They gave statues to the takers, made heroes out of thieves. Put their faces on the money while the hungry couldn't breathe. Don't lecture me on freedom from a stolen land stage. Don't quote old documents with blood on the page. Don't tell me be grateful for a seat at the table when my people built the room and got treated unstable. You can't buy me through the truth, you can dress it in stars, but the anthem still echoes like chains behind bars. I don't hate the people, I hate the disguise. I hate when the guilty get praised as the wise. Red for the blood they spill, white for the lies they told, blue for the bruises left on the bodies they sold. Don't ask me to celebrate what never included mine. I came with the receipts, I came to redraw the line. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers, let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide, no justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roots scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, I'm lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. Don't call it hate when the wound speaks back. Don't call it division when our name was fact. Don't call it progress while the system still bites. Don't call it freedom if we still gotta fight. I'm not here for comfort, I'm not here to pretend. I'm here for the children who deserve better than this. Better than myths, better than chains, better than flags used to cover up pain. So this one's for the ancestors who never got rest, for the names never written but who gave us their best, for the mothers who prayed, for the fathers who ran, for the babies born fighting in the stolen man's plan. This is not disrespect, this is correction. This is not rebellion, this is resurrection. You can keep your parade, I keep speaking the truth. I don't need permission to remember my roots. Royal oak in the soil, truth in the flame. If the crown came with silence, then I don't want the name. But if the crown means standing when the whole world falls, and I'm 10 toes down till the real story's told. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers, let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide, no justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roof scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. Fireworks fade, but the truth don't die. Royal Low, 4th of July. Not your midnight, not your life, not your version of my life.
All right, everybody put your lighters up, okay? A shout out to Royal Oaks Entertainment for that song. I absolutely love it. Okay, and so with that all being said, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So with that all being said, let's get ready to get black into it. Okay, let's see who all is in here with your nefarious selves. Okay, Shelvit, Israel is here. All right, Juju, Pearly. Okay, Juju said it would behoove you. I know, right? Tanya is here. Okay, let's get into it. Claudette, Adwell L. All right, Desmond, Mr. Elevation. All right, Gregory, Grand Rising to you, beloved. Shout out to all my loyal roads and everyone tuned into the Queen of the Big. Shout out to my moderators, because y'all know they be putting in work. Hey, Christopher, beloved. Lillian X. All right, Pearly is here. Nessa G, we the people. All right, let's get it popping. I see you, Alice. 504 Nola is in the virtual building. Keith Steele is here. All right. With that all being said, hey, Prince of Paraphernalia. You know what? I need to make you a moderator on this account, beloved. I keep forgetting to do that. I'll do it later on today. Hopefully I won't forget. Okay. Now, with that all being said, let's get ready to get into it. Hey, Nene, Red Wine Entertainment, G from the land. Okay, Motor City East Side. Hey, beloved. Okay, Byron Cook is here. Okay, so now with that being said, let's go ahead and have a brief word from our sponsor at 12 Tribes. Here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right. So don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. And don't forget that she sells beard oil as well. Okay. So let's get into it. More details emerge in the case of Nolan Xavier Wells. Okay, so let's talk about it, because the question is, what really happened to Nolan Xavier Wells? That's the question his family wants answered. Hence the reason that they've hired Ben Crump, because they know that they may not get justice in the criminal courts, but they should at least be monetarily compensated. And of course, that's not going to bring Nolan back. Nothing is. But at the end of the day, sometimes that's the only justice we get. These are privileged white children, okay, teenagers, not children, but young adults. And quite frankly, they know they're privileged. And I believe that they did this because they were upset and angry and jealous, but also because they think they can get away with it. And hopefully they absolutely won't. Okay, so as I was saying, the question that many people following the case continue to ask is, what exactly happened to Nolan? And it's a question that deserves a careful search for the truth. Not rumors, not assumptions, not conclusions, okay? Not lies and things that aren't supported by evidence, as some people want to put out. But the loss of Nolan Wells is absolutely heartbreaking. And so is what's happened to Carmelo Anthony. So is what happened to Cohen Wiley. These things keep plaguing our community. Now, Nolan was a young man with his entire future ahead of him. He lost his life, leaving behind a family whose lives will never be the same. Every birthday, holiday, every family gathering will forever include an empty chair and the painful reminder that someone they loved should still be there. So what we know thus far is, according to public information, Nolan was not alone before he entered the water. Now, that fact alone has caused many people to wonder what exactly happened during those critical moments. When was Nolan last seen? Okay, there seems to be some discrepancies that we're going to get into about that. When did people realize he was missing? Now, some say they didn't realize it until they got back to the shore, right? Who called for help and when? What efforts were made to locate him before emergency responders arrived? These are some of the questions that I have, okay? I have a lot of questions. So, with that all being said, these things are not accusations. These are questions that naturally arise whenever a person loses their life under tragic circumstances where there are many unanswered things and there are people who are being silent and acting as though they have some sort of guilt that keeps them from coming forward and telling exactly what happened. And I believe that's specifically what's going on here. Okay, and this fact of the matter is, this is something that is not new to the Black community. This has happened time and time again. Okay, so many times that we probably have lost count at this point. But yet, some people want to act like we're just out here rage baiting, or we're just, jumping to conclusions without any good reason to do so. But the bottom line is, somebody knows exactly what happened to Nolan Xavier Wells. Okay, and they need to start talking. They need to start talking. So let's get into it, because here's the thing. Friends initially said that they last saw 18-year-old Nolan Xavier Wells on the afternoon of July the 4th, okay, at Horn Island off the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Now, reports indicate that friends say they last saw him at 3 p.m., while another friend noted interacting with him sometime after 4 p.m. Okay, so that's what at least one other person said, that it was after 4, while the others say they last saw him at 3 p.m. Now, he was reportedly seen speaking with a girl in the crowd. Authorities stated that his friend's boat left the island without him, and his mother later reported him missing when he didn't return home. A body matching his description was recovered from the water near the island on the morning of July the 6th. Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, because Wyatt, his frenemy, okay, because these clearly were not his real friends, but Wyatt, his mother, says that he didn't have anything to do with it. Okay, that's what his mother says. And I guess we should believe her, because after all, it's his mom, right? So let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen so we can go to this. Like stuff, everyone, please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance, beloveds. I appreciate you. So here's what Wyatt's mom says. Her name is Katie Hudson. He repeatedly asked Nolan to get one boat at 5 when it was time to leave. To get one boat at 5 when it was time to leave. Now, I thought they said, as I just read, that they last saw him at 3 p.m. and that one other person said they saw him sometime after 4. Isn't that what I just read? Yeah, it is. But his mother says that he repeatedly asked Nolan to get one boat at 5 when it was time to leave. But Nolan wanted to stay with the girl, and their boat was parked next to his. He was insistent about staying with this girl. Wyatt asked him several times to please get on the boat, and people heard him. My son loves him and would never in 1,000,000 years leave him. Warren does not even have a boat. I'm sorry, his name is Warren, not Wyatt. Warren does not even have a boat. Nolan has been at our house several times, and he is the sweetest friend. We all adore him. And again, when Wyatt asked for him to get on the boat, he said he wanted to stay, and Wyatt boat started to fill with water. Hold on. Why is this name changing? Now, it says Wyatt, but didn't I just see Warren? Warren does not even have a boat. Why is the name changing if this is his mother? Why is she calling him by 2 different names? Do you all catch this? Because I literally just noticed it. Okay? So anyway, let me continue. Because I don't believe a word of this, just so you know. So anyway, We all adore him. Again, when Wyatt asked him to get on, he said he wanted to stay, and Wyatt's boat started to fill with water. Now, this is what that guy said yesterday. Remember, I said the guy was lying when he said the boat started to fill with water? Maybe this is where he got it from, but nevertheless, it's still a lie as far as I'm concerned. His boat ended up breaking down and was towed in. I don't know this girl that he wanted to stay with. I can just tell you, though, my son had nothing to do with it in any way, shape, or form, a matter of fact. He was the first person that noticed he was missing when they got back to their friend's house and called his mother, the Coast Guard, and the sheriff's office. Warren is very responsible and always is keeping up with everyone. Now, why is she calling him Wyatt and Warren? Why is she calling him Wyatt and Warren? Now, I really have questions. What is going on here? Did his mother really write this, or did someone else? And even if someone else wrote it, why are they calling him by two different names? Okay, do y'all hear this? Leon said getting their lives mixed up. Okay, now it's starting to look like this is just something that was put out there, like that guy that was telling that lie yesterday. Yeah, this is the same thing he said about the boat filling with water. Okay, so this is clearly a whole load of BS. I'm calling BS because why are they changing the name? Like, that literally makes no sense to me. Okay, Southern Lady Brown said lion. Exactly. Wyatt or Warren. Because I know that on one of the social media accounts, I do believe the name was Warren Hudson. And the lady's name, as you can see at the top, it's supposed to be Katie Hudson. Now, mind you, people can absolutely create fake text messages. And that's what this seems to be, in my opinion. Like someone made a fake post or fake text message. Okay, because you can just take whatever number you have and put somebody else's name on it, save it in your phone, and then do some bull crap like this, which is what it's looking like right about now. Okay, now this makes me even more suspicious. Okay, now this makes me even more suspicious because why is this person being called by two different names? Okay, but let's continue because this is all just sad. This is absolutely sad. Okay. Now, let's continue. I'm going to go to this post that this Asian man did about Nolan because he basically talked about a woman who something similar happened to. I believe her name is Nancy Ng. Okay, so let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. I'm going to share my screen. Yes, Lillian X said these people think they're so clever. Exactly. Okay. Exactly. Hold on, let me read a few of the comments. Cindy says, morning, Queen. Hey, beloved. When I see Crump, I see no justice. FBA all day. Well, here's the thing, beloved. Crump is not able to get justice. Crump is just a civil rights attorney. And so all he does is get monetary compensation for the victims of these heinous atrocities. But the bottom line is the only way there's justice in the criminal court is if the DA ever decides to prosecute these people. So when there's a police involved shooting and Benjamin Crump helps the family to file a civil lawsuit, that has nothing to do with the criminal charges being filed. That's entirely up to the prosecution. Okay, and most often they don't prosecute these police officers who injure or kill other people, specifically people who look like me. They just don't usually get, any sort of consequences. They don't get fired. They don't get arrested most of the time. They don't go to jail. So all he can do is, like I said, monetary compensation. Okay, so now
If you don't care about what happened to Nolan Xavier Wells because he doesn't look like you, would you feel differently about his friends minimizing his life if the victim looked like this, more like you? What if I told you that this is Nolan Wells's grandmother, which makes Nolan's mother half Asian and Nolan himself a quarter or an Asian person himself. And if you think that couldn't happen to me, that happened to Nolan because he's partially black, then I'm going to remind you of Nancy Ying, the 29-year-old special needs teacher from Alhambra, California, who went missing while she was on a yoga retreat on Lake Adelan, Guatemala, 3 years ago, who, just like Nolan Wells, put his trust into his white friends, thinking that they're just going out for a good time on the water. Nancy Ying also put her trust in her white friend, Christina Blazik, while going out on the water, thinking that they're about to have some fun. But just like Nolan Wells' white friends, who all claim that they don't know what happened to Nolan and just thought that he was on another boat, but then as soon as they got back, deleted all of their social media accounts, including Warren Hudson here, who up until 9:30 last night still had his profile up and now is gone. And allegedly, at least 2 of them immediately lawyered up upon getting home. Christina Blazik, who had told officials in Guatemala that she did not see what happened to Nancy, whether she jumped in or fell into the water, as soon as she returned to the United States, deleted her socials, lawyered up, and through her lawyer tried to claim that they were barely even friends. Which is weird because I didn't realize that people who barely knew each other put their arms around each other's necks and then held each other's hands while taking photos together, who once she returned home to America through her lawyer was like, no, I tried to save her. Oh, by the way, also Christina and the whole rest of the yoga retreat decided not to even remotely help find Nancy Ying's body and then fled the country the next day before a police investigation could even be officially started. So not only if you care about community, should you also care about what happened to Nolan Wells, because this boy was also Asian. But if you only care about things that happen to people that look exactly like you, that's the problem. Because when we're fighting the same systems of oppression that places people of color systemically second class compared to the white counterparts, it bleeds into societal standards and even into interpersonal relationships. The effect is the same for all of us. And that is that our lives are not valued, which means that our lives are not safe. Demand justice and visibility for Nolan Xavier Wells. One of these has been set up for the family. If you are able, please help them out. You can find it right here. And rest in peace, Nolan Xavier Wells. If you don't care about what happened to Nolan Xavier Wells,
so you all heard that, right? Sounds like a very similar story. And so with that being said, I think we all know where this is going. Okay? They're absolutely guilty. That's why they lawyered up. They're absolutely guilty. That's why they're not cooperating with the investigation, not talking to the police. You would only not talk to the police if you're guilty. Now, please make it all make sense, because you see, some of the MAGA minions who don't like people who look like me are sitting here trying to make all of these asinine excuses, okay, and basically saying that, oh, they got lawyers because, they know not to talk to the police. Yeah, you do know not to talk to the police when you know that you have done something, when you know that you're going to tell lies. You don't want to get caught in them, so you'd rather just not speak and allow your attorney to speak to them for you. Okay? Because if my friend had died, especially one of my close friends, okay, had died when we went on a trip for the 4th of July, you think I'm going to delete my social media? You think I'm not going to talk to the police? You think I'm not going to be out there actively involved in the search to find my friend? This is what real friends do. And you don't ever leave your friend behind. There's a brief story I'm going to tell you. One time when I was younger, like in my 20s, me and my friend Louise and my friend Terry, we all went out to the club. Okay, we went out to this club, and Terry got a little tipsy. And so she starts talking to this guy, and the guy's trying to pick her up and all of this. And then she says she's going to go and have a talk with him, like off in private. So now, mind you, we're watching her every move, because where are you going? So anyway, we see them leave out the door, and now it's crowded. And we were a little bit away from her. So by the time we get to the door, her and the guy are in his car, which is parked up front. Well, we're like, where do you think you're going? And he says, oh, I'm going to take her home. Sir, no, you're not. She came with us and she's leaving with us. And that's just how it always has gone. Okay, you're not leaving the club with some dude you just met. You're going home with us. First of all, you're tipsy. Okay, so this is not going to happen. And that's what you do when you care about people. But when you don't care about people, you don't care what happens to them. Okay, and then here's the thing. It is not a coincidence. And people know this. They can act stupid and act dumb all they want. But the bottom line is, people know that by the fact that there was an argument on the shore, and then all of a sudden Nolan's dead and nobody knows where he is, but they have his phone and all of that, they know that that's absolutely suspicious. And the police know that too. And the police should have taken all of them in for questioning. They should all have been interrogated. Why have they not even been, brought in for questioning, detained? They should have been arrested as far as I'm concerned, but at least they should have been detained. Okay, that makes no sense. That makes no sense whatsoever. Now, Chris Jan says it's said that Crump isn't FBA, yet FBA's he legally defends. Is it more political asking for a friend? Well, beloved, I don't know why it would matter if he was or not FBA. If he's defending FBA, it's because he's still helping them to get monetary compensation. But if you must know, beloved, and you must, I'm sure, Benjamin Crump is an African American. He's FBA, whatever you want to call it. He's that. Okay, he was born in Lumberton, North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. I watched a whole documentary on him. I watched the whole documentary on him a few years ago. And that made me look at him totally different. I would implore you all to watch it if you haven't seen it. And I think I told you all that when I saw it, that you all need to watch it. Because I used to go in on this man too and be like, oh, there's no justice coming. But guess what? He can't give justice. Okay, that's not in his hand. He's a civil rights attorney, and that's what he fights is for your civil rights and for you to get compensated for it. If the person that you loved and cared about, a family member, has been taken out of here and sent to the spiritual realm by a police officer or any sort of nefarious, where someone is liable, that's what he does. He cannot ensure that the police or whoever else is going to be criminally prosecuted. That is entirely up to the DA. Okay? POP says it has been 20 years since the FBI put that report out that every level of law enforcement and punishment has been infiltrated by white supremacists. Well, they're not white supremacists because they're not superior nor supreme. They're wanton supremacists, beloved. And thank you for being a member for 11 months. But yes, I told you all that. But here's the thing. The police departments, as I have told you all, has not been infiltrated by wanton supremacists or Klansmen. Okay, they have not. You see, they've only been infiltrated by the few good officers who work within the police departments. That's the infiltration. When you find a good police officer who does his job thoroughly and accurately and without harassing, disrespecting, or trying to harm people purposely just because he doesn't like the way they look, their skin tone, or whatever, those are good cops, and those are the cops and the ones that'll speak up when they see another officer doing some BS. Okay, so those are the ones who infiltrated, because in fact the police have always had wanton supremacists within them. I mean, they did originate from the slave patrols. Okay, and if you look at the badges that the slave patrols wore, it looks just like the sheriff department star that they all wear. Okay, so they've always had wanted supremacists, hateful, racist devils amongst them, and they always will, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, but with that all being said, let's continue. Let's continue, because the sad fact of the matter is Nolan is gone. His friends know exactly what happened, and they're not going to talk, at least not at this moment. But let's go to this other let's go to this Snapchat. Well, no, let's go to this first. Okay, this is a post where someone was responding to a person named Matthew Lamp. Okay, so let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Ha! Albie Chill said they're a white insecurist. That's a good one, beloved. I'll have to use it. One of my passengers is pretty certain he was part of the group that was almost fighting around 5 p.m. Now, there goes that 5 p.m. again. We just saw it in the supposed text from Warren or Wyatt's mother. Okay, I don't know who that really was, but clearly it couldn't have been his mother calling him two different names. Not in my opinion. But anyway, here goes 5 o'clock again. Now, mind you, they said they last saw him at 3 o'clock. Someone said a little bit after 4. Now, the Bertram with a blue top that I posted left shortly after that, and pretty fast. Then Nicole Rivera says, Matthew Lamp, were they fighting amongst themselves or other people? That's a question I have. The 3 people on my boat that saw it all says yes, it was amongst themselves. And so now the wanton supremacists who don't like people who look like Nolan, they're now trying to say that Nolan wasn't even involved in the argument. Okay, that he didn't even have anything to do with the argument. Now, I'm not sure where they got that from. I'm going to be willing to bet that they made it all up. Okay, because that's what it sounds like. But hold on, because here's a Snapchat receipt that also lets us know there's a discrepancy in the timeline. Now, as you can see, July the 4th at 4:01, delete Snap, my eyes only. Anna C. Moore claims she saw Nolan arguing and his friends at 4:01 p.m. Okay, July the 4th, and her proof is her Snapchat timestamp. So that all makes sense because I want you all to think about this. If they were arguing from that video that we saw when all those people were out there and everybody was looking and they were arguing on the shore, okay, so if that happened at about 4:01, it would make sense that they probably last saw him around 5 o'clock. Okay, because right after that, that's probably when they did something to him. Just my opinion. But you couldn't have last seen him at 4 o'clock when you all were arguing. And then they say that they told him to get on the boat and he wouldn't, and he left with the girl. So him leaving with the girl, that all happened after the argument, supposedly. And so if that's the case, how could 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock, which is what most of them said, how could 3 o'clock even be sufficient? It couldn't be. Okay, so they're lying, which we already knew they're lying. Now it's just a matter of finding out exactly what all lies they have told. Okay, please pay attention. Now, that being said, let's continue. Like up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, so now I'm going to show a series of videos that I have compiled together. And I want you all to pay attention. First, I'm going to this Facebook video. Here we go.
I'm hoping that Nolan Wells' friends are fully investigated because I'm not sure that I believe they had nothing to do with this. Because I'm sorry, but if my friend goes missing, I'm going to be using my social media to find out where the fuck they are. I'm not going to unfollow them and then deactivate my account. And for the sheriff to come out and say, oh no, we don't think that there's any like foul play. He drowned on the 4th of July when everything's fucking busy and no one saw anything. But let's just for a second say they have nothing to do with that. If you brought your friend, why the fuck did you leave without them? Did your mom not teach you manners? If your friend group looks like this, his safety should be your biggest fucking priority. Because if I'm taking a friend out, especially if my friend is a person of color, their safety is now my responsibility. Oh my God, why are we making this about race? Because it is. Cut the colorblind bullshit. Understanding and acknowledging that my friend is a person of color is not racist. In fact, to pretend to not see that and be completely ignorant of it puts them in danger. How? Because I know at least when they're with me, I can guarantee I'm at least looking out for their safety and their well-being. I can't guarantee that a group of strangers that we just met are looking out for them as well, that they don't have ill intention, that they're not racist. And because I don't know that, baby, you're coming back home with me. These boys told the sheriff, oh, well, he was talking to some girl and he wants to on the island, so we left. No. I don't care if you call me the biggest cock blocker and you're kicking and screaming the whole way to the fucking car. Maybe I'm not leaving my friend with strangers. What the fuck are you doing? We have to recognize that when we have friends of color and we go out with them, there are faces, places, and spaces that are not safe for them. And this naive, I don't see color bullshit can potentially put them at harm. We look out for our friends, and we especially look out for our friends when they are a person that is marginalized. That is the bare minimum. I'm hoping that no.
Okay, so I have to agree with him. I have to agree with him. And that's just being a good friend. Okay, and POP sit down somewhere talking about that's a weird hat. That was his hair. Okay, you are so nefarious. That was his hair. Okay, sit down. So, okay, so Lillian says they gave 0 F's about Nolan. Exactly. They could not have cared about him. How could you be his friend and you just go on home like it's all good? Like nothing is wrong. You just go on home. You don't even want to go and help look for him. That's crazy to me. Okay, that is absolutely crazy to me. Please pay attention. Now, here's the thing. Let's go to this clip, this video, where the guy who tried to rescue Nolan, one of the people who went out searching for him, he gives details, okay, about what happened. Let's get into it. I'm going to use an overlay because this is the Sun. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they gave me a copyright claim one time for their news. Okay, so I'm just going to use an overlay just in case.
On Horn Island off the Mississippi Gulf Coast turned into a desperate emergency response operation after the disappearance of 18-year-old Nolan Wells. Nolan and a group of friends went on an excursion to the popular island to celebrate Independence Day. But the atmosphere quickly shifted after friends noticed Nolan failed to return to the mainland as the sun began to set. Authorities said Nolan was last seen on the island at around 3 p.m. and did not return on the same boat as his group of friends. By midnight, his mother contacted the Jackson County Sheriff's Office and reported her son missing. Nolan's distraught mother pleaded for help on social media, sharing photos of her son wearing blue swim trunks and sunglasses, smiling on the boat and huddled around friends. The mom requested the help of the United Cajun Navy, a nonprofit organization that provides for disaster relief. I'm Israel Salas Rodriguez, senior news reporter at the U.S. Sun. Thanks again for joining us. Make sure to click that like and subscribe button to stay tuned for more reports like this one. Joining us now is Josh Gill, the Cajun Navy's incident coordinator for the search and rescue for Nolan. Josh, thank you so much for joining us. Can you just introduce yourself to our audience?
Josh Gill. I'm from Louisiana. I'm the incident commander for the United Cajun Navy.
And how long have you been with the organization?
Been with the organization on and off since its inception. Really been instrumental in the role for a couple years now.
And shifting over to the Nolan Wells case, can you describe the water conditions surrounding Horn Island for those of us who are not familiar with the area?
Sure. So Horn Island's off the coast of Mississippi. Believe about 10 miles off the coast. It's a 144 square mile island. It's pretty big. It's a location that's in the Gulf of Mexico / Gulf of America, whichever nomenclature you want to use. It's a destination area for boaters, right? Fishermen, boaters, recreational boaters as well. July 4th weekend, the water wasn't extremely rough. It was a normal day. I'd say, light swells, maybe up to 1 foot. There is a pretty heavy tidal surge and tidal movement on that portion of the island where they were at. It's a pass between two islands. So there's increased tidal influence right there, along with wind and wave action.
Okay. And is the area popular during the holiday, during 4th of July weekend?
Extremely popular. All summer long, it's popular. Like I said, there'll be anywhere from a few hundred boats to it could be over 1,000.
And can the water conditions change at all when the sun begins to set around the area?
Sure. Conditions can change rapidly there. It's not exceptionally deep, which calls for the ability for conditions to change quickly.
Can you walk us through the timeline from the moment that Nolan was reported missing?
Sure. So to the best of my knowledge, again, I didn't get a call till that next day. As I appreciate, late that evening, Nolan was on the beach. The vessel that he came with left. And from there, we don't know what happened, right? Again, I'm just a volunteer, I'm running volunteer operations. I'm not law enforcement. So what happened really isn't what I'm looking for. What I look for a search is that last known location, and then specifics about the area or specifics about the person. Knowing that northwest corner of Horn Island was what we call the LKL, last known location. From there, we looked at the weather conditions, tidal conditions, wind conditions to come up with a plan, come up with a grid on what we could do. As within 30 to 45 minutes of when I got notification of him missing from the family and then from the mother, we had surface vessels, that's boats, that were in the area starting to search. We also had 2 drones that were in the air, as well as boots on the ground on the island doing a manual walk to look for Nolan there. That next day, yesterday, we had at daylight 4 vessels, 2 more people, as well as a fixed wing aircraft in the air that started 6:15-ish, 6:30.
And when Nolan's mom did reach out to you, what was her tone like? Did she give you any information that could help in the search?
Oh, absolutely. So, and again, you can understand the frantic. Um, she was frantic. She wanted to know everything that was going on, and what we could do to provide resources, what we could do to help her find her son. I mean, that's um, issue number one. Find Nolan. Um, but again, she was, with everything that was going on, Miss Christine was extremely calm when she was providing that information, and I asked some very tough questions. Um, and I just wanted to make sure that she understood all the questions that I ask are related to helping me find the location to search.
Social Security is $1,847 a month for me. $312 of that was going.
Or on the ground, were you approached by any of maybe Nolan's friends that stayed in the area and that they provide any information to you guys?
It is an active and open investigation, so I'd rather not discuss the pieces and parts of who we had conversations with. I will say this is that I don't believe any of the friends stayed.
And what did you know about Nolan's disappearance when
Did you all catch that? He said he can't give so much information because of the pending investigation, but he said, I will say this, I don't believe that any of the friends stayed. Okay, so they didn't give a darn. Okay, they didn't give a darn at the end of the day. They all left and went on about their business. How sad.
you first got that call? Did you know of anything beforehand?
Just basic information, stuff that I gathered off of social media, as well as information from the mother. Nothing that was super relevant to finding Nolan or to searching for Nolan. Just information that he got left on the island, left or he wasn't there, possibly, hopefully, and as we prayed that he may have made it onto another boat. So what we do is we gather information, right? We gather as much information as possible. We then blast it out to social media. We've got a huge following, and this one went extremely viral, to ask for help. The more people that see something, they could possibly say something. So we actually, at the time of him being found, we had people in the air, we had boats on the water, we had boots on the ground, on land, on the mainland as well, looking in 3 different locations where people had said he may have been seen that day, that evening before, or that evening he came up missing. So we take into account everything, every tip, every, hey, go look here. We do that. We do it because we want to make sure we're providing all the resources that we possibly can, checking everything out, and letting the family know that, hey, every life matters to us. It doesn't matter race, creed, color, religion, nationality. I don't care. We want to make sure that every family understands we're putting every bit of effort into it.
Did the search effort shift in any way after the 24-hour period when Nolan was still not found?
No, we remained steady with our search and our operations. We coordinated with the local Jackson County Sheriff's Office. We let them know what our grid pattern was. We sent them our grid in our search areas, and we coordinated with them. Again, we notified them and let them know that we would be in the area, in the air, as well as on the ground in multiple locations.
Were the members of the Cajun Navy on the island when the body believed to be Noah was found? And are you able to disclose any details on the whereabouts of the body?
So I would rather not disclose any of the details. It is an open investigation. We were not on the island. We were in the air.
And from your understanding, was the body, again, believed to be Noah, was it found in the same area as where the 18-year-old was last seen?
As I appreciate it, was within close proximity to that northwest corner of the island. Again, I don't want to get into specifics. It's an open investigation.
And how has social media helped the Cajun Navy in their search and rescue missions or operations?
United Cajun Navy, whenever we get notified of a person missing, typically it's through social media. People understand who we are, they recognize us, and they'll reach out to us through Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is. we turn around, we utilize those platforms to help get the word out on whoever it is that's missing, right? So I'll start with a quick narrative of who it is, last known location, what they were wearing, if they're going through a mental health crisis, if they may have been in a fight with their girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, whatever pertinent information is there that can help us spread the word. Tattoos, height, weight, clothing. From there, I build this narrative, and then I make a poster, a missing persons poster. That's got all that information on it with as many pictures as possible. And then I do a video. The video will explain, and every one of them's heartfelt. Hey, we're looking for Israel. He came up missing. It's super important that we find him. His family is absolutely upset and distraught. Might be going through a mental health crisis. Whatever it is, I list it out there, and I do it with a lot of emotion, and it's true emotion, sincere. We put that out on multiple platforms, and then the tips start coming in. Here you go. Look, I'm not law enforcement. I'm a volunteer. It's a volunteer organization. We just want to bring these people home. So social media is a huge piece. Again, I don't care how it happens. I don't care how we find these people, as long as they're found and reunited with their family, one way or the other, right? We hope to find them all alive. Unfortunately, that always doesn't happen that way. So social media is a huge tool. And then it's good old just boots on the ground, canvassing the area, canvassing that last known location, talking to people, and really building relationships with them, no matter who it is. Going into that community and saying, hey, we're just a volunteer group trying to bring this person home. What do you know? What do you think? And a lot of times that helps us out. The one thing, Israel, is, the families. It's interesting because the families always ask the mom and the dad, what's your gut feeling telling you? And more often than not, that mother's intuition is spot on. And they'll tell you after I build a relationship with the mother, particularly, they know what happened to that loved one. And again, the one thing I can ask for the viewers that are out there, say prayers, right? Prayers mean so much right now, and in everything we do. And I told the family, number one, keep the case alive. Let's make sure that media and that the general public know exactly what's going on, because it is an open investigation. And the truth needs to come out on exactly what happened, because there's a lot of assumptions right now. And I think the general public, as well as the family, truly need to know what happened that day, and what happened to Nolan, what brought it to this situation. So thank you so much for having us, and let's keep the story alive.
Definitely, Josh. Thank you so much for your time. Yep. Incredible insight from Josh and the brave, swift response by him.
That is so very sad. But let me say this, because I see Jay Great is being nefarious this morning, talking about anytime they say they don't care about race, creed, color, they're lying. That is not true, beloved. That is absolutely not true. Okay, I beg to differ. I beg to differ. Okay, now, when people say things like, I don't see color, that's when you know they're lying, because everybody sees color. Or when people say ignorant things like, oh, it doesn't matter to me if you're purple, green, blue, polka dot. Well, that's when you know they're lying, because first of all, that's so asinine. There's no one that exists that look like those colors that they mentioned. But this man is doing the Lord's work, Jay Great. So how dare you try to insinuate that he's lying? This man is a volunteer. Let me just say this, okay? Because I've done volunteer work before, not what he's doing, but different. But here's the thing. When you do volunteer work, honey, you're not getting paid. You're taking time out of your day when you could be doing a myriad of other things. And you usually, most people volunteer because of the love of other people. You would have to love the job. You would have to love what you're doing, because you would not do it for free otherwise. Okay? 9 times out of 10. Jay Great says, he said, I don't see color, Queen. Did he say I don't see color? I didn't hear him say that. I'll have to go back and listen. Okay? But the bottom line is, he's still doing volunteer work, and he was out there looking. He was out there looking for Nolan. Okay, Odd Negro's official said he's a vulture. He wants to be around Black death and sadness. People are sadistic. I don't know where you all get this from. This is something you completely concocted in your own mind, beloved. You have no proof to substantiate this. Why would you think the man is sadistic and enjoys Black death? If that were the case, would he have to be a volunteer for this organization to do so? I mean, y'all can have y'all's opinion, don't get me wrong. I just don't agree with it, and I think it sounds ridiculous. It's clearly a reach, like Reggie said, okay? I mean, where do you get all of this? Where do y'all get all of this? This is like y'all just made this up in your minds, okay? The bottom line is this. There are some sick people in this world, and in this case, it's the people who left Nolan out there to die. It is not the person who voluntarily, without payment, took time out of his life. And this man lives in New Orleans. Didn't he say he lived in Louisiana? He said he lived in Louisiana, right? Yeah. So he went all the way to Mississippi, to Horn Island, to look for somebody for free, spending hours and possibly days in a search. But y'all want to sit here and try to go in on this man? Like, sit down somewhere. Because I guarantee you, y'all wouldn't do it. Not for somebody you didn't know. Now, you would probably do it for someone that was your friend or loved one. But would you really do it for someone you didn't know? Okay, I'm sorry. Would you do it for somebody? What are racist vibes? Now here comes Inspire Me Lori says, Queen, I agree. I'm not getting, okay, you said I'm not getting racist vibes from this guy. Exactly. Okay. I mean, here's the thing. If someone is racist and hateful, this is what I need you all to pay attention to. People that are racist and hateful, you think they really want to go out there and search for a Black person just so they can get a kick out of finding them dead? Like, that is so obtuse to me. Okay. But like I said, honey, uh, that's on y'all. Jacob the Rogue said, I did volunteer work setting up stages, mics, and lighting for St. Jude's Children's Hospital in Memphis for years. Oh, thank you, beloved. I appreciate you for that, because out of all the charitable organizations that I support, St. Jude is the number one, and the second one is the Innocence Project. Okay? That is just what it is. Okay, so Odd Negro's official says, not obtuse, just perceptive. I mean, it's obtuse to me. To you, it's perceptive. You can't tell me what my opinion is, beloved, just like I can't tell you what yours is. You say it's perceptive to you. I say it's obtuse to me, because I don't like to draw conclusions unless I have some sort of evidence to go on. I don't like to just sit here and think of stuff in my own mind and just make up scenarios. Okay? I don't like to do that. I like to have some sort of information to go on to bring me to my opinion or conclusion. That's what makes it valid. Okay? Anyway, that all being said, let's continue. Let us continue. Now, let's go to this clip from Law and Crime Grid. They say bombshell drops in the case of missing Mississippi teen Nolan Wells. What are friends hiding? Okay, so let's go to this clip really quick. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but I just want to hear what this man has to say. I mean, because really, if we just want to make up scenarios, we could all just make up stuff to say about anybody that we wanted to, or that we just didn't like for whatever reason. And that's really what racist people do. They make up scenarios in their heads about Black people who've done nothing to them. And it's really sad. Okay, let's get into it.
Search continues for a teen reported missing from Horn Island. 18-year-old Nolan Xavier Wells was last seen Saturday afternoon on the northwest tip end of Horn Island.
I heard he went to a different island. I heard that he swam out trying to catch another boat. I heard a lot of different things, but I don't know which one is true. But I need to know exactly what's the last thing people saw Nolan doing. It's going to make my job a lot easier. There were some people that thought he might have, wandered off into the middle of the island. Maybe we'll have that lake, but we sent people up there today, and if he was barefoot, there's no way he made it up there. There's cactuses, and there's just a lot of thorny brush and whatnot. He would not have comfortably never make it to the middle of the island. He probably would have turned around and went back toward the beach. If you were one of the group that was with him, or if you were on the island and you were there and saw anything, Please don't be afraid to come forward and tell the authorities exactly what you know, no matter what you might think might be some consequences or whatnot. But it's very important right now in these critical moments.
He was last seen walking toward the water on a holiday weekend, surrounded by friends, surrounded by people, and somehow none of them can tell us exactly what happened next. A young man, an athlete, a son, gone in broad daylight on one of the busiest islands on the Gulf Coast. And the people who were closest to him in those final moments are the ones giving the fewest answers. How does someone vanish in front of a crowd and nobody sees a thing? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, I cover real cases, missing persons, unsolved mysteries, and stories that deserve far more attention than they're getting. Friends.
I slept so good that night, I canceled.
To understand right away. Horn Island is not some hidden, deserted stretch of land. It's a popular barrier island off the Mississippi coast, part of the Gulf Islands National Seashore. On a normal weekend, it sees traffic. On a holiday weekend, like the 4th of July, it's packed. Boats everywhere. People everywhere. Music, coolers, crowds. This was not an isolated place where someone could disappear without witnesses. This was a crowded island filled with potential eyes, and that's where the first major question begins. If this island was so crowded, how is it that nobody has come forward with a clear, complete account of what happened to Nolan? Around 3 p.m. that afternoon, Nolan was last seen on the west tip of the northern side of the island.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. I really just wanted to hear what that guy had to say. Okay, so let's continue. Marjorie says, Queen, the fact that not one of those Edomites got off their ASS to search for Nolan before they left the island is so nefariously demonic, more like a cult. Was he sacrificed? You know, beloved, that's a good question. At the end of the day, I think it was likely jealousy, just in my opinion, um, just from the information we have thus far. But bottom line is, they definitely were not his friends, okay? Because that's why they didn't bother to search for him. Now, let's talk about his parents hiring attorney Benjamin Crump. Let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please. Don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, so here's what they say. And this is straight from Ben Crump's office. Okay, they say the family of Nolan Xavier Wells, the 18-year-old Ocean Springs student athlete found dead on Horn Island this week, has retained nationally renowned civil rights and personal injury attorney Ben Crump. The family is calling for a thorough and transparent investigation into how Nolan died. Nolan traveled by boat to Horn Island with a group of friends on Saturday, July the 4th, to celebrate the holiday. He was last seen on the island around 3 p.m. and did not return with the group, according to the Jackson County Sheriff's Department. Now, his mother reported him missing that night, and local, state, and federal agencies, including the U.S. Coast Guard, the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources, and the National Park Service, joined a 2-day search. Now, on the morning of Monday, July the 6th, a U.S. park ranger found a body at the northwestern tip of the island, and Nolan's family confirmed his death later that day. So an autopsy was scheduled for Tuesday, July the 7th. Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter has said the investigation remains active and the cause of Nolan's death has not been determined. Nolan played football at Ocean Springs High School and was a wide receiver at Southwest Mississippi Community College, where he was set to return for the upcoming season. He would have turned 19 next month. Attorney Crump and his legal team will conduct an independent review of the circumstances of Nolan's death and will press for the timely release of all records, witness accounts, and autopsy findings. That's what I'm waiting for, the autopsy. And I wonder if he had any bruising on his face or cuts and abrasions. Now, Attorney Crump released the following statement. He says, Nolan Wells was a beloved son, teammate, and friend who went out to celebrate the 4th of July and never came home. His family deserves answers. They deserve the truth. We will not rest until every fact about what happened to Nolan on Horn Island is brought into the light. And we call on investigators to pursue this case with the urgency and transparency this family deserves. Okay, so there it is. Now, what I'll say is this. What I was going to say is that it is very difficult, I'm sure, to be out there searching for a person, for these volunteers, not talking about firefighters and police officers. I mean, they do this work sometimes, but the bottom line is they get paid to do it. It's part of their delegation of duties. But here's the thing, when people are volunteering to go out here and do these things, it is absolutely so beneficial for people who have lost their loved ones or who have their loved ones missing, just like Nolan's parents. They asked these people to come and help them, and they came. So with that all being said, it's got to be very difficult to find a deceased body, to be out there looking for someone and then to find out that they're actually dead. That has to be very difficult to deal with. I think it would be for me, but that's just my take. I don't think that anybody's trying to get a kick out of Black Death, that it's going to, volunteer. Because here's the thing, when you go and volunteer, do you really even know the race of the people you're looking for until you get there? 9 times out of 10, you don't. Okay, Nirvana says there are good and bad in every race. One of my most inspirational people is and will always be Princess Diana. Hallelujah, mine too. Okay, mine too, beloved. And that's what I'm talking about. There's white people who fought and died for civil rights, and they didn't have a dog in the fight. So I'm never going to sit here and act like all white people are just low down and dirty and nefarious. That's just not the case. There's good white people just like there's good Black people, and there's nefarious Black people and nefarious white people in every other race and ethnic group. Okay? So with that all being said, this man is doing the Lord's work as far as I'm concerned. No matter what you think of him, people that get up and volunteer and go out and go from state to state looking for missing people, searching and hoping that they're found alive, and even going to the families to pray with them and all of that, I absolutely think those people are doing the Lord's work. That's my take on it. Okay? That's my take on it. So with that all being said, let's continue.
The hands of other Black people significant.
I noticed that this little dude is young, so I almost cut him a break, but he want to play big boy games, so he gonna win big boy prizes. First off, little dude.
Yes, Odd Negroes official, beloved. There I go. Okay, I'm not going in on y'all today. I'm just telling y'all my thoughts and views. Okay, let's continue.
For the past 50, 60 years, we've been working to regain the control of our community and take it back from even those that terrorize us. But the reality is that we don't have to ignore any situation that takes place outside of our community just because of what's taking place inside our community. Since you are disconnected, because I don't know a young Black man that wear Bass Pro Shop hats that don't identify with the other side. You know what I mean, I know what I mean, we know what the fuck I mean. Lil dude, you're gonna have to go do some research, because a simple Google search will show you that we actually work hard to get the violence out of our communities. But I do got a question. Who is it that leaves the trucks full of guns in our community? Yeah, you ain't even ready for that part of the conversation, little nigga. Shut your bitch ass up.
You're about to see this.
Lord, let me just tell you all something. I'm going to try to get him on my show. Okay, I absolutely love him. He is hilarious, and he's always to the point and has very good talking points. Now, also, that's the guy whose song that I played on the intro. Okay, that was Royal Oak. That was him. Okay, so let's continue.
Boy's face and hear his name a lot the next couple days, and then unfortunately the majority of white people talking about it will forget all about it as they ride off into the sunset chasing the next headline, because at the end of the day they're allowed to put their phone down and stop thinking about it. Black people are not afforded that luxury. So before that happens, I would like to remind you that this is not an isolated incident. Nolan Xavier Wells died mysteriously on Horn Island this weekend while going out with his white friend group. It was reported that there was an argument, and now every boy that was present is saying they don't know what happened. Nolan is described as a special soul, always willing to cheer and uplift others. Cohen Wiley was shot by police just 3 weeks ago, 1 year old, because they thought his guardian stole diapers. Just 2 months ago, Juliana Nazita, 16 years old, was found hanging on a church's property after being missing for 10 days. Police refused to even perform a homicide investigation, ruled it a suicide, and never mentioned it again. Kyle Basinga was hanged in Georgia 3 months before that, and once again, police ruled no foul play. Trey Reed was found hanging in a tree on Delta State's campus in September of last year. Police ruled no foul play, but his family demanded a private investigation and independent autopsy autopsy, and they still have no results 10 months later. Denoris Richardson was found the previous September hanging in a remote area miles away from his home in Alabama, only months after he filed a lawsuit against police for beating and abusing him. Police ruled it a suicide, but his family and I believe it was framed that way. He was the father of 5 children and coached kids baseball and football. Javian McGee was found dead with a rope around his neck in North Carolina the same month, ruled suicide immediately by police. His family disagrees. In May of 2024, 4 white teenagers knocked on Justin Johnson's door and told him to come out while holding what looked like a toy gun. They said, "Justin, I see you in the window, come out." Justin told his dad on the phone, "They didn't want to chase nobody but me, and I had to run fast away to come home. Run away from them and come home." He was found lying stomach down and pronounced dead later that night. Trevante Schubert Helton was found hanging in Georgia in February 2024, ruled suicide. His family calls for a more thorough investigation. Yolna Lubrin was found hanging in Orlando in September 2023. Police claimed suicide immediately, but her family accuses them of jumping to conclusions without a proper investigation. In 2021, Peter Spencer was invited to a cabin in Pennsylvania with his 4 white coworkers and was found dead on the lawn with 9 gunshot wounds just hours later. The shooter was let free because he said Peter was acting crazy on shrooms, and the 9 shots were out of self-defense. Tamla Horsford was found dead in a backyard after having a slumber party with her white friends in 2018. Police ruled it an accident, but her family's attorney said blunt force injuries and inconsistent witness statements strongly suggest homicide. Terrence Woods Jr. was in Idaho in 2018 when his white coworkers said he started acting strange and running away from them. He's missing to this day. 4 black men were found hanging in 2020: Malcolm Harsh, Dominique Alexander, Robert Fuller, and Omari Bryant. Are you recognizing a pattern yet? Whether they were abandoned, murdered, or hanged, police are systematically denying black families investigations and answers they deserve. This system was designed to protect white lives, and that is exactly what it's doing. Do not let police or media convince you that these lives aren't precious, and don't buy into the lie that it doesn't deserve our full attention. My heart hurts extra for Christine and Elmore today.
All right.
Black people, you have got to.
Hold on. Before I let him finish, I just want to remind you all of this. Tonia Nicole Miller, okay, found hanging the day before Juneteenth. Okay, that's another one. But also, if you all remember, August the 9th of 2022, 8-year-old Jason Charles was severely burned, over 80% of his body, during a sleepover at a friend's house, and the friend was YT. Okay, spent the night at the friend's house on Bradley County Road in Warren, Arkansas. The incident took place at a white family's home, and Jason's parents demanded answers after it was revealed that no one called 911 after they saw this poor child had severe injuries and burns over 80% of his body. Do you all remember that story? Because I reported on it. But let me just tell you one more in case you forgot. There was a time when a little black child spent the night with his 11-year-old white friend, okay, and he ended up getting shot. This happened in February of 2021 in Canton, Ohio, okay, where an 11-year-old boy accidentally shot his 12-year-old friend while playing with a gun during a sleepover. Okay, now, however, specific details regarding the family's house and the 11-year-old black boy in that exact configuration do not match the prominent national media records for recent sleepover shootings. Okay, I don't know what that's all about, but that was ChatGPT trying to make sure it's the right story. But I was trying to remember when that happened because I reported on that too. Little 12-year-old goes over to his friend's house and gets shot. Okay, and then they tell lies about what actually happened. And then, of course, the little boy didn't go to jail because he was 11. His parents got into a bit of trouble, but it was nothing serious. So I just want you all to pay attention that you cannot just let your children go to certain places and spaces, okay, specifically with people that don't look like them. And that's the sad fact of the matter. But don't believe me, just listen to him because he's white himself and he says the same thing. Okay, let's get into it.
Black families.
Kids, this Nolan Wells situation never should have happened. The parents of Nolan Wells should have known better than to let him hang out with these kids. I have an older son. I'm not saying it's the parents' fault, but I'm just saying it happens all the time. My older son is half black. He looked more black than he did half. But he got into a similar situation. He was fighting with a bunch of rich kids in North Atlanta, the North Atlanta suburbs, the richest neighborhood in Cherokee County, Georgia. And he was fighting with a bunch of boys over a girl. And lucky for him, he didn't wind up dead. He just wound up locked up for a while. But it could have wound up with him being killed. And, you know, we as parents, we have to do a better job in informing our children about who they should and shouldn't hang out with, because matters. The color of your skin matters, especially when you're hanging out with a bunch of rich kids that have, you know, doctors and lawyers and judges as parents. You know that your kid is going to either wind up locked up or dead. So my heart goes out to Nolan Wells' family. I really hate that it happened to him, but you gotta protect your children, because white people will kill your children at the drop of a hat. That's just the way it is, especially these entitled little rich white kids. God loves you. I love you.
Okay. And that's just the fact. Now, let me just say this. I was listening to a TikTok live, and there was a black guy on there saying that he didn't believe these kids did it because they were rich. Why would they want to ruin their lives? Okay, he sounded so ridiculous. Like, the more money they have, the more entitlement they feel that they have to do things, and they feel that they can get away with it, just like this man said. That should be common sense. But this raccoon seemed to have felt like, oh, that's not the case. Hold on. Let me just pull it up when this lady responds to him, because I don't think I started recording until after he said that. But this lady responded to him. Hold on. Let me just play this real quick. CEO, what was his name? His Lugio? Is it Luigi? His family, millionaires. He still did what he did. Very intelligent young man.
He's some kind of a woke.
I know, but what?
He's some kind of a woke hitman.
You're talking about there's
Trust
no
me,
way
if you
that
think-
these white tea boys can do this because they're wealthy is bullshit.
If you think that son of a bitch wasn't brainwashed all his life, capitalism,
you're missing
let me tell you something. Ma'am, you need to pay attention to
You're
this
a Trump
word.
supporter?
Yeah.
Where do you come
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Okay, there you have it. He was a whole Trump supporter, and that's why he says that. Here's the thing. All of the people that are going against the narrative, all of the people, I'm talking about black and white and other, all of the people that are trying to act like these frenemies of Nolan's are innocent, and all of the same ones trying to say that Carmelo Anthony was guilty, all of these people collectively are Trump supporters. Okay, all of these people that are against us are Trump supporters. I want you all to pay attention. It never fails. That's always what they are. The black ones included, Black MAGA. Okay, I want you all to pay attention, and that's important to note. So just remember that when you go to vote midterms, okay? Just remember that when you go to vote midterms. And here's the thing. I'm not going to tell you to vote Democrat or Republicans, but what I will tell you is this. Make sure you vote for the people that are going to give you health care. Okay, make sure you vote for the people that are trying to make the economy better. Make sure you vote for the people that are not going to have the military out there killing people in the streets. Okay, make sure you vote for the things that you need, the people that are going to give you what you need to survive and thrive. Okay? Now, let's continue.
Nolan fucking Wells. What in the actual fuck is going on down in Mississippi? So listen, if you got a little time, let me walk you through this shit, because this shit's fucking wild. I try to stay out of it till you get all the details, but since they're circling the fucking wagons and refusing to help authorities, I'm gonna tell you what I think's going on. This picture right here, you will see Nolan and 4 of his friends that went on a boat party on July 4th. Only 4 of them returned without Nolan. His cell phone back to his mother. What the fuck? Claiming they haven't seen him since 3 p.m. These people right here remember seeing them partying and throwing beer cans and causing a ruckus and starting fights. all the way up until 7:30 p.m. You want me to believe a friend of yours that you've known for years goes missing in Mississippi for hours and hours and hours, and you not only don't look for him, but then you go home without him, without calling the cops, and you just bring his phone back to his fucking mom? And then there's this video right here. Did you hear it? There is clearly an argument going on shore where they clearly say, fuck you, motherfucker, you're not getting on the boat. Even though they didn't have time to call the police or start an investigation right away, they had plenty of time to deactivate all their fucking social media. Not to mention, these little fuckers' parents are judges, doctors, and other high-ranking members of the community. Let me see if I can play out what exactly fucking happened here. Noah goes out on a boat with 4 of his friends. There is some sort of argument on shore. A fight ensued, took him back out on the boat. I allegedly believe they did something to him. Then came back to the same spot they were in, partied all the way past 7:30 p.m. Have witnesses saying you were there, remember. Then brought his belongings back to his fucking mom. Look, I hope I'm fucking wrong here, but things aren't adding up. None of it makes fucking sense. None of it adds up to something benign happened. We all need to be saying his fucking name. Even if they didn't, fuck each and every one of them for abandoning their friend, not even searching for him so that they could drink and party the rest of July 4th away. Be careful who you choose for friends. I promise you, the only way a snake can fucking bite you is if it's right fucking next to you. Rest in peace, Nolan.
Okay, he's absolutely right. No lies detected. Okay, and shout out to him. Marjorie says natural born killers with affluent parents. Okay, Max Factor error. Research him. Honey, I know all about that man. I saw a whole thing on him over a decade ago on a true crime channel. I think it was the ID channel, but his name is Max Luster. No, Andrew Luster. That's him. Yeah, he got like 50 years in prison. Okay, and that was back in the early 2000s. And that's my whole point. And he was the person I was actually thinking about when I know that that man sounded crazy, saying that rich people don't do such things. I was thinking about Andrew Luster and also the 16-year-old who murdered 4 people because he was driving under the influence after taking his parents' car and a 6-pack of beer. And who knows what else he had. Okay, and he simply was classified as being someone who suffered from a disease that they made up on the spot known as affluenza. Okay, where he didn't know anything about the consequences for his own nefarious actions. And that's what I'm talking about. These people feel entitled and think they can get away with everything because of their parents' money. I absolutely agree.
Carmelo Anthony's new legal team has filed the motions in the district court in Texas for his retrial.
Okay, I didn't mean to include that. We're talking about Carmelo later on today. I got my receipts mixed up. Let's just go on past it. Okay, here we go.
Post my child if you are not cooperating with law enforcement. Because then you playing in my face. You want to post my child, but you don't want to post up to give an accurate account of what happened to my child. Same go for you, Eric. You want to post my child and say you will see him soon, but you don't want to post up and tell the police how you going to see him soon. You know you weren't going to see him soon. You know something happened to him. Don't post him if you're not going to post up, pull up, give a statement, give an accurate account, and blow the whistle on what the hell happened. Because everything outside of that is bullshit. See you soon. See you soon. How? Y'all had his phone. He could not call for help. No underage or no teenager or no new adult is going to leave their phone. They are attached to their phone. Oh, I got something else. Listen, We got your back, Nolan. We ain't letting this slide. Not on our ancestors, not on your parents, not on your family, not on your life. Your internet virtual aunties and uncles gonna show out for you because we be damned. So there's an individual by the name of Lucas Aviz who said, last time I spoke to him, and he posted this on Nolan's mother's page in her comments, said last time I spoke to him was when he said that I have to leave, and it was probably 2 to 2:30 p.m. But there was a huge group of people with several boats around for all I can remember. I last saw him get on a white boat with a center console before I had left. So that's all the information I can provide. So let me tell you another individual that I didn't mention that they're going to need. They're going to need a social media person to go and pull every fucking thing. They're going to need more than one to have eyes and ears. Because what y'all don't know, they get on these social media apps and they post this shit and they think it's not discoverable. But as I say, anything you say, post, and receive can and will be used against you in a court of law. This
Exactly, because all they have to do is subpoena the social media company, okay, and tell them to get the records. Okay, that's what they do. That's why I tell you all the time, well, not all the time, but I've told you all before that if somebody's false flagging channels, like hateful devils who don't like what you're talking about, they're false flagging your channels, you can absolutely find out who they are by their IP address. You just get your lawyer to subpoena the social media outlets and get their information, and you can sue them. So they think by deleting things they're safe, because here's the thing. There was a video that I saw last night where they say that one of the people who's supposed to have been friends with Nolan posted on their social media saying, it's now deleted, mind you, but they supposedly posted. Now, I didn't see this, so this is hearsay, okay? But the person who did the video said, one of Nolan's friends posted saying, my parents are praying over us for something that we did that could probably land us in jail for over 10 years. Okay, did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Said that one of Nolan's frenemies posted on his social media and then deleted it and then deactivated his account, saying my parents are praying for us or for something that we did that could probably land us in jail for over 10 years. Now, what the hell did y'all do that could probably land you in jail for over 10 years? Okay, that's right, Tanya, a confession. So when all of these people are sitting here trying to make allowances for them and giving them so much benefit of the doubt when they never give it to us, okay, I want y'all to pay attention. They're absolutely guilty. That's what they are. All the moves they're making are being made out of guilt. Yeah. Zootor said Diddy could beat the truth out of these white boys, LOL. Yeah, I'm sure he could, beloved. Okay, but let's continue.
did not have to happen. Nolan deserved to be here.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. So in the case of Nolan Wells, his family has decided to hire attorney Benjamin Crump because they want a full-on investigation conducted. Clearly, they're not believing the things that are being said and how this is being painted as, Nolan just didn't want to get back on the boat. Okay, let's get into it. So the fact that they claimed that Nolan wanted to stay behind on that island and didn't get on the boat with them and then left his phone, okay, that makes no sense because we know that people keep their phones next to them. And even if you were in a place where there was no service, knowing that you were not going to get back on the boat, you would definitely want your phone with you. How would you know that someone wasn't going to steal it or go through it? Why would you leave your phone unattended? And wouldn't you think that you would need it later when you got to a place where there was, in fact, service? Okay, so none of that makes any sense. Okay, these young men who were supposed to be his friends have now lawyered up. Okay, one of their stepmothers is a judge. Okay, I'm quite sure she's pulling all the strings that she can. And I want you all to pay attention because the YT people, some of them are acting as though these kids are perfectly innocent and we're all out here on a witch hunt just trying to blame them, as if there has never been previous stories where similar scenarios have absolutely occurred and there was no accountability or culpability. Okay, please pay attention. I believe that these people were jealous of Nolan, that they got upset with him possibly because he was talking to Katie McCormick and she was not his girlfriend. She just met him that day, okay, according to reports. With that being said, she's the one who's supposedly talking to investigators, okay? She's cooperating with the officials. But these other people who claim to have been his friends are not. Okay, they have nothing to say. They haven't reached out to the mom. They've not posted any condolences or any of these things, and it's very suspicious. Okay, at the end of the day, it's giving guilt. Okay, please pay attention. And I find it so interesting that people who don't look like me want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but they never do the same when it's someone who looks like me. Okay? That's what they don't do. But all of a sudden, when it's the other way around, they have so many excuses. They give so much benefit of the doubt and they tell us not to jump to conclusions. But that's what they always do. And I'm talking about the MAGA minion types, okay? The ones that don't like people who look like me. I'm not talking about all whitey people, okay? Please pay attention. And with that all being said, even the good YT people are saying that, in fact, they did something to Nolan. They don't believe the story either. Okay, so it's not like it's just people who look like me that are quite frankly suspicious, and we have all the reason to be. Okay, this isn't some witch hunt. We're not out here trying to paint a narrative. We want justice. We want to get to the truth, and so does his family. Okay, and hopefully they will get justice. But right now, these people are not cooperating for a reason. If you didn't do anything wrong, if you don't know of anything nefarious that happened, you would be more than willing to cooperate with the authorities. Okay, in my opinion, if you really were Nolan's friend and gave a darn about him. Okay, please pay attention. It's really starting to feel like they're playing in our faces. Okay, all of these miscarriages of justice, all of these lies being told, the cover-ups and all of these things, from the Cohen-Wiley case to the Carmelo Anthony case, okay, and now Nolan Wells, sadly. It is just more of the BS. And then they love to say that we are the ones who make it about race. No, we're not. Simply because we call out racism and patterns and history of things that have happened that lead us to our conclusions for why we believe and think a certain way currently, that does not mean there is racism. Okay, that just means that we're being smart. Okay, we're looking at a pattern here. Isn't that the same thing that the police do when they're investigating crimes? They look at patterns of characters or people's behavior. That's all we're doing. Okay, and it is a known fact that there's a history of black people when they're the lone one amongst a group of YT people that sometimes they don't make it out alive. And that's just the facts. Okay, don't get mad at us for doing our due diligence and trying to get to the bottom of it. Okay, please pay attention. Okay, exactly. Now, here's the thing. I have a bone to pick with Herbert Vincent, 2317, who says he wasn't around black people, so didn't have to worry about theft. Oh, okay. So you don't think that white people steal, or Asian or Mexicans, you don't think that any other group of people steal besides black people, Herbert Vincent? I'll wait for your answer. And as I wait for Herbert's answer, I'm going to need you all to please get the likes up. Could we please get the likes up to at least 500? I just saw someone say there was 389 likes and there's over 1,000 people in the chat. So could we please get the likes up to about 500? I'll wait. Herbert says not as likely. Well, why would you say that, Herbert? Have you done research to draw your conclusion? Have you done research, beloved? Have you studied statistics to see? Or is this just something that you just came up with on your own? Okay, the fact of the matter is all races and ethnic groups have thieves amongst them and killers and any other crime that you could think of. They all have it, not just black people, okay? Now, I don't have to go in on you because I said I was going to stop going in on y'all so hard. I don't really have to go in on you because it looks like the chat's doing it for me. So that all being said, please pay attention and watch your mouth in the chat, okay? Because I'm telling you, the Royals don't play. Mrs. Naturally Nolan says they were one of the first people that came to help people in Hurricane Katrina was the Cajun Navy, was rescuing people. Well, thank you, beloved. You know, that makes sense because that's what they do. Okay. And Katrina affected who? Many and almost all Black people. Okay, so I'm just saying, thank you for saying that and sharing that, beloved, because for the people who said that that man seemed like he was racist, they were just going by his looks. That's all they could have been going by, because they don't know him in real life. Okay, so they had to be going by his looks, because to them, he obviously looks like a Trump supporter. But what does a Trump supporter look like? Okay, what do they look like? Our Negroes official says white people are very good actors, very two-faced, and so are Black people. It's not just white people. Black people also are two-faced. I know a few of them. Shall I name the names? Black people, anybody can have two-faced people, okay? But if that's the hill you want to die on, that the man is racist, go right ahead. I'm sure he doesn't care because he doesn't even know you. Okay, I'm sure he doesn't care because he doesn't even know you. So with that all being said, Miss Naturally Nolans, thank you for your insight into the topic, beloved, and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, now hold on. I saw a comment. VW Flyer, we don't use those type of derogatory terms in the Queen's chat. We don't call people saltines or Ritz or whatever. You use the C word. Yeah, we don't do that. Okay, that's what we don't do. And so please don't do that again. Now, that all being said, we're about to wrap it up. I want to thank you all for tuning in. But before I go, I want you all to see this video of what this foolish woman did. Okay, it's absolutely so foolish. I don't know what she was thinking, but now she has caused this family a lot of grief. Okay, let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. This daycare worker tossed this toddler up into the air and she accidentally dropped him. Now, I was so livid because what was she thinking? This is never a good idea. Okay, this is never a good idea, especially when it's not your child. Okay, especially when it's not your child. So let's go to this, because this lady, like, I don't know what she was thinking. And then watch the other lady run away when she sees what's going to happen. You see that? You see that? Drop that darn child. That says California family files a lawsuit after their toddler suffered a traumatic brain injury and permanent hearing loss due to a daycare worker tossing him in the air. This is absolutely so sad. Now, this child his whole life is changed because this woman wanted to be stupid. Why would she do that? Why would she do that? And especially when there's nothing under her. Especially when there's nothing under her for protection in case that she drops him. Okay, like, this is all so crazy. Yeah, she was just playing, but she shouldn't have done that. That's dangerous, and that's common sense. Look at her just laying there. And then she fell over on him. Okay, that just really annoyed me when I saw it. Like, oh my God, what is wrong with some people? Okay? Common sense is no longer common, is all I'm saying. Okay, we talk about common sense, but some people have none. Some people absolutely have none. Okay, prayers for the family. The little boy's still living, but he has lost his hearing. I hope that some type of way he is able to get it back. Possibly he'll be able to wear a hearing aid or something. I don't know, but that's absolutely, you know how, oh my goodness, I can't imagine what I would have done if that were my child. And he has a brain injury and permanent hearing loss. Whew. I'm just saying, some people are just so ridiculous. Anyway, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude the broadcast. You guys, I will be back later on today. Marie says, wow, glad there's video proof so they can't lie about the injury. Oh, you know they would have lied. You know they absolutely would have lied, okay? They definitely would have lied. Okay, so sad. But anyway, with that all being said, listen, I love you all to life. I hope you all enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Okay, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. And I will be back at about 5 o'clock sharp. Okay, hopefully sharp. Y'all know I be late all the time, but hopefully I'll be on time this time. And it looks like you all are saying that Herbert is a troll. Is Herbert trolling? I mean, I kind of figured he was MAGA from his comments. Hold on, let me find him real quick. I might need to rid him. Okay, I don't know why these people come on here when they don't like what we're talking about. I mean, what's the point? Do they think they're going to harass us into stopping? I mean, what do they think? Okay, I don't see him, but moderators, if you do, please block Herbert Vincent. Oh, Herbert says he's not a troll. You're not. Okay, well, I'll keep an eye on you. Don't block him, beloveds. I'll just keep an eye on him. Okay. Beverly, thank you so much for your super sticker donation, beloved. I appreciate you. Okay, peace, love, and blessings. Okay, now with that all being said, I'm out of here. Everyone enjoy the rest of this day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh.
Hold on. Let me just say this. I know y'all thought I was gone, but Odd Negroes official said you obsessing over the Cajun rescue guy. I've moved on, not even talking about him. Get it right. First of all, I didn't get anything wrong, beloved. Now, don't try to get sassy when you think the live is over, okay? Because I can still get right back on here and let you know what about the business. Okay, don't be disrespectful because I was not disrespectful to you. Okay, it clearly bothers you because I had a contrary opinion. As I told you, beloved, you're entitled to your opinion. You feel it was perceptive. I felt it was obtuse. That is my prerogative. And this is my channel. So I will say whatever the hell I want to say. Okay? Now, if you don't like it, you know what to do and how to do it. Okay? So don't try to get slick when the broadcast is closing because you think I'm not going to say anything because I'll stop this right in the middle and say what I need to say. I wasn't even talking to you for one. When I was still talking about the Cajun guy, I was talking to the person who gave me a super chat donation and said that they came and helped Hurricane Katrina. The Hurricane Katrina victims. And I emphasized that those were mostly Black folk. Okay, now if you feel offended by that, then that's fine. But don't try to go in and try to talk slick because you know I'm the best to ever do it. Okay, and no one's going to win a roast on this channel when you're coming for me. That's what nobody's going to do. So why even try? Now let's continue.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got